Hey guys, in this episode we want to talk about the biggest sins owning a Land Rover Discovery.
Hope you enjoy the video.
Very well. Yeah, hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Vera.
From LR Time, and we're gonna cover the biggest sins when owning a Land Rover Discovery. Now we're gonna make this video about the Land Rover Discovery 3 and Discovery 4, maybe even Discovery 2. So, well, maybe we make it applicable to all Land Rover vehicles. I'm gonna start with a really bad one right away, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys committed that first sin. Maybe not all of you, but a lot of you. So we're gonna get going with the first really bad one, and that is owning a Land Rover Discovery without owning a diagnostics unit.
We can't say that enough. Yeah.
That is the biggest sin. It goes that far that you're supposed to have a diagnostic unit with you when you go and look at an old Land Rover Discovery and with the intention to buy it. How can you even buy one without connecting a diagnostics unit to it? So you committed a sin before you even bought one, okay? By going there and look, oh, that's a nice vehicle. Yeah, maybe we drive that. I wonder if it's reliable. No, it's not reliable. And you gotta check it out before you buy it. And that includes a diagnostic unit. I cannot
stress that enough.
Exactly. There are every week Facebook comments in those usual discovery groups, English or German language. And they always start with the same line. Oh, I got the dash light coming on and it's all lit up and my car is in limp mode. What am I doing?
Don't say it like that. We gotta do that again.
Okay, so there are these posts in these Facebook groups. There are these posts in the Facebook groups every week, if not every day.
Every day.
In all languages, and they always start in the same sentence, and there's usually a picture attached from the dash with a big Christmas tree lit up, and then there's the explanation. Oh, and the car had a bing and a bong, and then it went into limp mode. Did any of you guys already have this problem? The sin also is applicable to all of those of you who answer these comments with, yep, I had that before, and it was this problem and that problem. Well, no, it wasn't, because you cannot say, based on the lights you have come on, what the problem is. All the car is telling you that it's not healthy. All it's doing, it says, I got a headache. But we all know headache can be caused by all sorts of things, okay? It can be because you were out the night before and you had too much alcohol. It could be because you overworked, or it could be, because you've been walking along in the sun for too long. It's the same with the Discovery. It will give you bings and bongs and dash lights, and the reason is completely unknown. So how can you guys on all those Facebook groups answer those comments with, oh yeah, I had this before, it's the brake light switch, oh, it's the ABS module, oh, what you gotta do, and it's definitely that, you gotta replace your parking brake module,
oh,
and so on, okay? What you're doing is you stressing that poor person asking what those dash lights are for, even if that poor person committed a sin, even asking this without having read the diagnostic code ahead of time. These kind of posts get then 33 comments, 45 comments with all kind of suggestions. And the poor owner who just had a dash light come on for no particular reason thinks, oh my God, what am I gonna do with this car? You guys gotta always answer, well, have you read your fault codes? Then if you're not, go do that. There is no way in the world that you can reply back with a detailed fault analysis based on the dash lights. And it also fuels the bad reputation of the Land Rover Discoveries, because everybody thinks, oh my God, the dash light comes on, there gotta be 40 or 50 different faults. But it's not the case. Always answer, you gotta read your diagnostics code first. That's what's needed. That's also the first thing what the Land Rover shop does. If you go there, They connect their diagnostics unit before you even say a tone, and they're gonna read out your faults. And then they're gonna charge you a fortune just to read out the dash code. So how can you not own this unit? For example, something like the IcarSoft, okay? This is already sufficient. It can read and reset fault codes. Costs you used less than 100 euros. You don't have to go and get an expensive unit like the 2D tool, the Gap 2D. This one is only necessary if you really want to do advanced diagnostic or change the configuration of your car. And there are multiple brands on the market. I happen to own this IcarSoft unit for years, and it does a perfect job, and it's always in the car. Remember, when you want to go and buy one, you got to take this unit best with a knowledgeable friend with you when you look at the vehicle and you read out the fault codes, because your car may have an insignificant dash light on which points to a big huge problem. And only if you have this unit with you, you find out what it is. You can then use this information to talk to the owner, to talk to the seller, and eventually, if it's a used car sales guy, it's a special breed of people, you maybe heard about them, you might be able to push that price. So that's my first item,
Yeah,
okay?
but that's a good one. It's a really good one.
So please confess to the sin if you committed it down in the video comments. We're gonna go to the next one.
No, I want to pass that bus first.
Oh, you go
So
ahead and pass that bus. I gotta look at my cheat sheet here because there's so many sins I had to write them down.
So we are going to the Abenteuer in Allradmesse in Bad Kissingen right now. I'm all excited.
You committed sin. If you don't know, if your Land Rover Discovery 3 in the diesel version has the updated oil pump, how can you drive around with this vehicle not knowing if your oil pump was already updated or not? There are Facebook posts still at least once a week of an engine failure where the owner posts a picture of a broken oil pump. You know how that picture looked, where the timing belt pulley wheel broke out of the casting of the oil pump, and then there is a hole in the oil pump, and then the owner goes like, oh, what happened here? I got a hole in my engine block. No, you don't. You got a hole in your oil pump because your pulley wheel broke off, because you've been running a weak oil pump out of the original build series of the Land Rover Discovery 3 in 2005, 6, 7, even some 8s, and there are even some Land Rover Discovery built in 2009 which have that out-of-date oil pump. The reason why a Discovery out of 2009 can have that oil pump is because it could have had some particular warranty repairs back then when the spare oil pump was still the old version. So you are not even safe if you have a 2009. You gotta know which oil pump you have. And it is also not sufficient to just look at the oil pump. If you take the timing cover off, you look at it to see if you have the reinforced casting. You need to know if you have the latest version oil pump. There are intermediate level oil pumps available which have the updated casting but not the updated internal rotor. You need to measure that by measuring the thickness of the rotor. The original pumps, even with reinforced casting installed in 2007, had a 13.5 millimeter thick pump rotor. But the latest versions you buy today, and also the ones installed in the Discovery 4, have a 15 millimeter thick rotor. You need to make sure so your car runs healthy long term to have the updated casting, and you have to have the 15 millimeter rotor. And because your car is not new and it already has probably 100,000 kilometers or miles on it, so you may as well replace that oil pump to be sure. If you've been working with a workshop and that workshop is unable to tell you what oil pump they installed or to assure you if it is the latest oil pump, or if they replaced the timing belt without knowing about that, they committed sin and you should not return to them. There should be based on the maintenance schedules from Land Rover. No more Land Rover Discovery 3 even out there with an unupdated oil pump, with an original weak oil pump. But still, there are weekly posts in the Facebook groups about poor people who have a complete engine failure because of the pulley wheel breaking out of the oil pump casting, even on Land Rover maintained vehicles. I wonder how this can be possible. This is theoretically, by the maintenance plan from Land Rover, completely impossible, because there was also a service bulletin issued by Land Rover about this weak oil pump, so the Land Rover shops are all informed. But at the end of the day, because all of our cars are out of warranty and we drive them on our own risk, it is you who committed sin by not knowing if your Land Rover Discovery has an updated oil pump or not.
Yes, and I know we have covered that in our videos again and again and again.
It pulls every owner of a Land Rover Discovery down really far when you make such a post, when you discovered such an engine failure. This is one of the only preventable engine failures you have on a Land Rover Discovery. All others are unfortunately not so easy to prevent, but this one
is. The Defender is coming.
Oh wow.
He's going to the Abenteuer and Allrad also.
Yeah. You're pulling down all the other owners reading that post on the breakfast table going like, oh my God, what car do I have? Okay, this is a preventable engine failure. All you gotta do is take care of it. It costs you money one time. So why don't you have that money set aside and have that checked right away, or check it yourself by following our videos. We made several videos which explain in detail how you get down to that oil pump. I recommend you that you look specifically at the video where we replace our cheap-ass FAI aftermarket oil pump, which did not work out of the box, with a genuine OEM Ford oil pump, actually purchased from PSA for less money. That's, I think, the easiest video to follow. It's also very clear instruction how to do it, what you need. But you should also check from us the video where we tested various different oil pumps in comparison. Then we have a video which is called Most Essential Maintenance on the Land Rover Discovery 3. That one covers also the timing belt, just like the oil pump replacement video, but also a few more other maintenance details. And all of you guys replying to these posts, okay, don't act so surprised when somebody posts an engine failure because of a broken oil pump. There is no surprise. Start your sentence and your reply, well, didn't you inspect what oil pump you have? Okay, sorry for hitting so badly with the first two items, but you're gonna be standing in front of that heaven door and nobody will let you in. So I'm gonna go back to my cheat sheet, which consists actually 11 items, but we're not gonna read all of those to you because we don't want anyone to commit suicide after this video. Sin number 3.
Oh my God. I don't even know that one.
Not knowing the maintenance history of your Land Rover Discovery 3. Not knowing the maintenance history means you never ever looked in your service records. You never ever asked your dealer what they actually did. You never ever asked the previous owner, or you just simply don't care. You drive around with it and the car just runs. That is okay, but you are committing a sin. You gotta understand the maintenance record. This vehicle is no Toyota, okay? With a Toyota, you can drive around for 15 years without even opening the bonnet. That's okay. That's not a sin. You don't even need to know that your car has a bonnet. Actually, a Toyota has a hood. But this vehicle, having English heritage, has a bonnet. And you need to behave. You need to open it, you need to inspect it, and you need to know your maintenance record of the vehicle. Knowing the maintenance record means if you get a call from me in the middle of the night and I ask you, when was your timing belt changed last? You gotta wake up half in your sleep saying, oh, I think that was around 130 kilometers. Yeah, and it was about 2 years ago, and it was done in this and that shop, and they put in an original Continental or they put in a cheap-ass aftermarket. I want to know all of that. I want to know if you had a left or right EGR valve replaced. I want to know if you had your rear timing belt or fuel pump belt replaced. I want to know what's going on with your suspension. Did you ever had your lower front rear suspension bushings replaced? Did you have the oil pump replaced? What's with your alternator? How old's your battery? What voltage does that thing potentially have? Okay, when was your last oil change and what oil was put in? How can you not know that? Oh, I understand, because you were previously driving a Toyota. That is the only chance where you can say now, okay, I have not sinned. You couldn't have known that. Now, where you drive a Discovery, you gotta know all of that, okay? The times where you have those completely relaxed days in your life driving a Toyota are over now. You are now a Land Rover owner. You're gonna be converted to a top-notch first-level mechanic. That's what you're up to by buying this vehicle.
Yes, and that's also in regard to those Facebook groups. Every single day somebody asks, what is the right oil for a Discovery 3?
I recommend you here to watch our oil change videos, and there are even additional oil change videos from various people in English language also recommending to change the oil on the Land Rover Discovery TDV6 from 5W30 to 5W40. Please do that if your car is out of warranty and if you love it. I'm pretty sure I caught a few of you guys committing sin right here on this topic, and I'm sorry about that. It says 2.3 kilometers to the A7. Yeah.
Oh, look at that, the G-Class.
And
we're gonna pass now a Toyota.
Yeah, here. This is the vehicle you can drive, and you will have a completely trouble-free life.
But that one is 40 years old. It doesn't have any airbags. I'm not gonna drive a car without an airbag. So don't say just buy a Toyota.
Okay.
So, and by the way, the Toyota drivers with an engine failure, they should then be ashamed of themselves because they didn't do the most primitive maintenance.
Yeah, a Toyota driver in a Watt Cruiser with a severe engine failure probably doesn't know that his car has an engine. Okay, he was just always wondering, well, I gotta put that key into that hole and turn it, and then I can drive around with the vehicle. We love all of you Toyota drivers.
Yeah.
You know my saying, if there wouldn't be any Toyotas, we Land Rover drivers would actually think our vehicles are reliable. Ja, genau.